Section 6. Process Theories of Work Motivation. Introduction. This lecture will discuss the process theories in work motivation. Objectives. Define and explain process theories of motivation. Identify process theories of motivation. Distinguish process theories of motivation from one another. Understand key terms in expectancy and equity theories. Introduction. Process theories of motivation are those which describe the process through which needs are translated into behavior. Process theories have their origin in the philosophy that behavior is learned or based on environmental stimulation rather than instinct, while content theories describe why people have different needs at different times. Process theories explain the process through which the needs are translated into behavior. There are several process theories of motivation, such as reinforcement, self-regulation, and job characteristic theories. Among the most popular process theories are expectancy, equity, and goal setting. We will take a look at some of these process theories. Expectancy theory. Expectancy theory was proposed by Viru, 1964. It is based on the notion that effort in the world of work is usually directed toward behavior which people believe or perceive will result in need fulfillment. Thus, expectancy theory suggests that people develop expectancy whether their effort would produce a given level of performance, and whether that level of performance would result in desired outcome. This is illustrated by the expectancy theory model. Expectancy theory. Effort, performance, outcome 1, outcome 2, outcome 3. The key variable in this model is the individual's effort level, which is dependent on 3 factors: effort to performance, expectancy, the perceived probability that the individual's effort would produce a particular level of performance. This probability ranges from 0.0 to 1.0. The effort to performance expectancy can be increased or influenced by the individual's self-efficacy, the belief in one's ability or can do it attitude towards a particular task or challenge. Counseling can be employed to achieve self-efficacy or by management, selection, and placement procedure. Performance to outcome expectancy. The perceived probability that a given behavior or level of performance would produce a certain outcome. This probability comes from previous learning and ranges from 1.0 to 0.0. When an employee believes that performance up to a certain level would definitely lead to a specific outcome, the probability is said to be 1.0. Where the individual anticipates that a given level of performance has no effect on the outcome, probability is 0.0. There are usually too many possible outcomes, hence, the evaluation of outcomes is limited to those of interest. Motivation to complete a work or assignment today may be different for another day. Performance to outcome expectancy can be increased by accurately measuring employee performance and distributing valued rewards. Outcome valencies. The anticipated satisfaction or dissatisfaction that an individual feels toward an outcome. It is determined by the strength of an individual's basic needs that are associated with the outcome and ranges from negative to positive. The actual range does not matter. It could be from -1 to +1 or from -100 to +100. Outcome valence suggests that employees must pay attention to workers' needs and their reward preferences. Performance outcomes that have negative valence must also be discouraged. Equity theory. Equity theory is concerned with the perception of fairness by individuals in the workplace. This perception is centered on the distribution and exchange of resources. There are 4 elements of equity theory. These are outcome input ratio, the value of the outcomes received divided by the input provided. Input as skill, effort, experience, time as in hours of work, sacrifices among others. Outcomes are pay, promotion, recognition, and allowances among others. Comparison order. The basis for comparison, which is the individual in a previous organization, other individual or groups in the same organization and in similar positions. Equity evaluation provides the basis for determining when the individual employee is under-rewarded or over-rewarded or equitably rewarded compared to another or others. Equity occurs even if we worked harder and received a proportionally higher reward. Discuss equity and maternity leave. Consequences of inequity. Changing input. Under-rewarded employees tend to reduce their effort and performance, while over-rewarded individuals sometimes increase their input. Changing outcomes. Under-rewarded workers ask for more desired outcomes, wage increase, promotion, etc. They may join a labor union to press for favorable changes to their outcomes or seek compensation for pay discrimination. Some may abuse office facilities, misuse sick leaves, steal or damage company property to compensate for perceived inequity. Changing perceptions. Distort input-output to restore equity feelings. I was underpaid for the first year there, but the present overpayment is just unequitable. Leaving the field. This explains one of the reasons for job turnover. Acting on the comparison order. This involves changing the comparison order's input or outcomes by persuading him or her to put in less work at a leisure pace or more effort, do a larger share of the workload, depending on whether you are over-rewarded or under-rewarded respectively. Changing the comparison order. Relying on a generalized comparison order or changing the comparison order to someone with a more compatible input-output ratio. Ethics of inequity. There is the argument that inequity is acceptable if everyone has equal access to the more favored position, or inequality is in favor of the least well-off in the organization. Individual differences in equity. This is the notion that individuals vary in equity sensitivity. There are individuals you can't just cheat who will not take for granted what others might not consider important in equity perception. Research has shown in this regard that people are either benevolent equity sensitive or entitled in equity perception. Benevolent are tolerant when they are under-rewarded for the same input but might prefer equal output-input ratios. Equity-sensitive workers want their output-input ratio to be the same as that of the comparison order. Any deviation leads to tension. Entitled workers feel more comfortable when they receive proportionately higher reward than the comparison order. This is the end of Study 6. Thanks for listening.